My wife Angie and I have always been animal lovers, and after we bought our first house together, we were thinking about getting a pet to add to the family. And I don't know if you've ever been to the shelter, but it is the most depressing place on the planet. As an animal lover or not, if you have any compassion, it's hard to see and not be affected. It's tough to walk past all these little faces with stories, and I mean, some of them are horrible stories. And you feel like you're choosing not to help them when you walk by. I've learned to kind of accept things that I can't change, but you feel like you could change any one of these, so it feels horrible to just not help all of them. So anyway, we walk into this horrible place. We literally wanted every one of them that we saw, but two of them stuck out to us. One was this adult cat with like super sad eyes, and who'd obviously been a family member at some point, super sweet, and just wanted your attention, like, please pet me. We still think about that cat. We met him for 2 minutes, and it still haunts us. This is why we are not allowed to go to the shelter. The other cat, this little kitten, who was in rough shape, eyes squinted shut and red, like super irritated. His whole face was a faucet. He was filthy, he had ear mites. It was obvious, just rough. He looked very fragile and weak. This was Dave. He didn't know he was Dave yet. In fact, his name was Ronald. They'd named all the cats they brought in that day after Harry Potter characters, and he was the only ginger. But he was a Dave. We made the decision and decided to foster him with the intent of keeping him right from the start. This is the first picture I saw of him actually when I got a text at work. He spent a lot of time sleeping and resting up, had no interest in playing or even wandering around, like he just wasn't healthy yet. Barely ate and wouldn't drink any water for longer than we were comfortable with. We looked at his medical history and, mind you, he was only 2 months old at this point. He was quarantined because they weren't sure what was going on with him just yet. His paperwork said that he showed up slightly lethargic and with continual diarrhea. Poor dude. He'd been given countless medications that I couldn't pronounce if I tried. They obviously took good care of this dude. Like, they put a lot of effort into making sure he was healthy, and we were hoping he was on the mend. A month or so in, he started moving around a lot more and eating like a champ. Another text I got at work was when he was taking his first drink since the first time we brought him home. He started playing around a little and exploring. He wasn't just starting to act like a kid. He was a beast. For about 30 seconds at a time, and then he would sleep for about 2 hours. He really filled out, and it was obvious that his health was here to stay. Angie and I finally admitted out loud to each other that there were a couple days we had our doubts as to whether or not he was going to be there with us when we woke up. He was in bad shape. But we were really happy he made it through, and felt like an achievement. He got his little personality and built some confidence. Started to own the house a little bit. It was really fun to watch. So at this point, we were building a house. So we moved into an apartment in the meantime while we were selling the old one and building the new one. Dave helped us move in here. He loved the porch. I'd go watch raccoons and birds all day. He got comfortable pretty quick. And Angie was all over any story she saw about rescues and volunteers or whatever it was, so she started volunteering herself and supported in any way she could. One day she saw a story about Periwinkle, who would later be Jack. Turtle Cat Foster on Instagram showed his story about how he was just kind of wandering around, extremely sick, tiny little kitten. Just in rough shape too. He had some blood issues. He ended up getting a blood transfusion, and he had a ringworm a couple times. But the woman running Turtle Cat Foster really came through for him. And so many others. She's doing great things over there. But he was ready for adoption, and one of the pictures Angie saw of him was from an adoption event, and he looked scared shitless. He hated it. Being a black cat that wasn't all cuddly and friendly, he wasn't the first pick for most people looking for a cat, Angie couldn't take it and made the call. Next thing you know, he had a forever home, and Dave had a new buddy. Dave also had some new smells to investigate, so he sat there for days. He was curious, but it felt like there was something there. It was freaking adorable. We kept them separated and introduced them through doors a few times, and after they were cool, we tried this. I mean, treats fixed everything. A few sessions and more time together, they decided on their own that they were in good company. And this is literally the first time they hung out on their own accord. It changed Dave's whole demeanor too. Like, he no longer chased us down the hallway trying to eat our shoelaces. But now he was a protector. He had a buddy he could play with that could match his energy, and they could just go be cats. Fast forward to the new house, and it was all their domain in short order. Jack has always been a mama's boy without question. He purrs when she walks in the room and drools when she pets him. If I dare try to pet him, he was gone. But after a long time, probably about 3 years, he finally started to hang out and sit on laps. It was like relief. Now it's probably a 70-30 split of rest and relaxation and complete chaos. And that's pretty much where we're at. Always one step away from adopting every animal we see.